Hey there, welcome to another edition of the Akashic Portal Weekly. What do we need to know this week? I've already asked the cards, and I'm using the Illuminating Journey cards that I created with the help of the Akashic Records. These are layered energetic cards that are pretty powerful, especially when you get engaged with them and deepen your relationship. So let's see what they have to say. I do know that this is the week of 2 months. We're ending June, we're going into July. July is an 11 universal month. So double new beginnings. It's about stepping into the portal. So we know some huge shifts are coming. They're really going to force us to not only accept what comes through the higher energies of who we are, but also to communicate differently, to connect who we are in a different way to the world around us. And we have our final eclipse coming up on Saturday the 4th or the Sunday the 5th, depending where you are in the world. This is a really intense eclipse. It is bursting forth something new within us. This idea of kind of activating our voices, releasing the rigidity of our beliefs, our religiosities that we've held on to. It's a breaking away from a system, the mooring of a system we've been attached to for a long time. So lots of changes, lots of unusual things. You know, when you break away from your moorings and everything is literally upside down, then there's a lot of things you have to come to terms with. I'm just noticing, if you're looking at my hands, I've been painting, so my hands are full of paint. But in a topsy-turvy situation where that ball is spinning and you're being given an opportunity not only to open up your crown and receive, but also to ground in a different way to what you value, and also express things you may not have been able to express before. So there's a lot of what may feel like fear, and you're being invited to think about it in terms of excitement as opposed to fear. The openness of what happens when those portals start opening and you're expanding, and just sit with it, even if it feels fearful, even if it feels unknown, to just hold that space. Let's see what the cards have to say. So first card is the number 6. And I find that really fascinating. For those of you who don't know, this deck has numbers, portals, and tools. So the number 6, which to me kind of looks like this energy of moving forward. I often see it as like a wheel, you know, some kind of wheelchair that moves forward. It's kind of, you know, this idea of moving faster as opposed to kind of slowly walking, this having this circle at the bottom to kind of move us through energy, and kind of leaning into the change. That's what it feels like. The number 6 represents love. Love of our community, love of our family, love of our home, this solidifying of our connection to the world around us. Who is in our world, and what do we think about them and our relationship to them? So the value we hold for our community, the people we love, our lovers, our children, our community, will we, walk with them, or will we part ways from them? Will we speak up? Will we hold their truths and our truths in a big bowl of love? Can we understand that when we see this, the 1 and the 0, which is about love and light coming together, where all things come together, right? Everything we are, everything we experience coming together to be rebirthed in some way, this revolution of movement, this idea of being reborn, this need to speak out and to experiment in a way with our voices and what we think and answering back. And maybe we haven't answered back. Maybe we've been silent. Maybe we've been wanting to get along so that we could all have community. And now we see that doesn't work. And so it's going to take more from us, more effort, more love, more holding of the space, more understanding, more birthing of who we are, more speaking of our truth, more bringing beauty into our world, more honoring what we value through our voices, through our actions, through the way we love. This is like the opening of the womb of change, like being in this vast container of love that allows everything to be in its midst. And what are you what pools are you entering? What are the things you're birthing and nurturing and bringing to life? One of the shadows of the six is the idea that we are meant to suffer or meant to be martyrs. Like, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to force you to understand. It's a very painful journey. So instead, to receive what we receive, to allow others to receive what they receive without having to punish ourselves so they understand. So this is really about freedom, the freedom of our voices, the freedom of allowing people to choose their path and not try to force them into some way or some container, not try to force ourselves into something that doesn't fit for us. And then the next card is the 18, and this card is just the continuation of the blue, the water, the sound, the voice, the energy of being in transformation, in transmittance, of receiving information, of opening ourselves up to hear through our hearts, to listen so that we really get the energy of what's coming in, to really be in that womb space. And if you can see here, the figure here, kind of allowing the energy to come in, this feels very sacred. It's a very sacred time. 1 and 8 and makes the 9, the 6 and 9, these are emotional numbers. This is a very emotional time. It's a time of healing. It's a time of breaking away from old worship, if you will, ideas, holding on to ideas, wanting people, believing that they're going to change, and instead loving them for who they are, and moving away if you need to. And I just feel like this energy here that's catching my eye of this, this sense of pomp and circumstance of what we've looked up to and what we've praised and kind of seen as leadership. And there's this energy of this, like a figurehead that we've looked up to, this idea that we have allowed ourselves to be dominated by something that may not ring true for us, but we've held on to it because we thought it was for the best, for the collective. We expected people to do things the way we believed, and we thought if we all behaved that everything would work out. And now it looks like we're going to have to strip ourselves of those illusions. So this idea of being in the light, being in the water, allowing this energy to fill us, to clear the shadows, to expose things that perhaps we haven't seen, and to kind of linger in the truth, right? So what it feels like is that there's going to be a lot of information coming through, and it's going to be disappointing, shocking, surprising, and yet in a sense a relief, right? Because when we know something we didn't know, we can let go of expecting it to work a certain way. So when we don't have expectations, we are relieved. We can lighten up, we can move to a different energetic point. And so this is what this does, is kind of asking us to stay connected to our spiritual connection, kind of ground and be open to that, and ignore the stuff that's going on in the background that is trying to distract us or give us a certain energy or a certain viewpoint and say, look here, this is the truth, and we don't know if it's the truth or not. So just stay in that place of connecting to the energy of the divine, the energy of the earth, and just allow that to open you to a greater truth. Like, it really doesn't matter the opinions of people around you. What matters is that you can be in that greater place of truth. So you can hold their truths and yours and not be impacted when they're trying to change the container. And then this card, very interesting, the 23, the soul pole 23 showing up, because 23 is the number of, considered the most powerful number in the deck, in numerology actually. And it is about courage. This is the lion heart card. This is a card of our courage, the courage to trust our own intuition, to trust what is true for us. And this is a 5. 2 and 3 is 5. It's about connecting to life, to people, through play, through curiosity, bringing our creativity into the mix. Like, how can we change what we experience? How can we have a different experience, given what is? And this is the card that kind of speaks to that. The Sphinx, who comes with the riddle, with this kind of, we're facing this energy of needing to transform. Like, there is no other way. Like, we're going to have to deal with the cards we've been given. We're going to have to see what is true, and we're going to have to move beyond our illusion. I wanted it to be this way. I was told it was going to be this way. So there's that sense of coming to terms with what is happening. So whether it's our grief, our loss, our mourning, and the realization that change happens through us, that we are the ones that must activate the change in the experience. And it's not all doom and gloom. It's actually a very exciting, energetic energy. There's this promise of all that is possible, the color, the expression, the sense of engagement with what is possible, and just feeling into the symbolism of what's happening around us. What are the signs pointing to? What are the things telling us about ourselves, about others? You'll notice there's also blue here. So we started off with 6, the blue, and look, there is kind of like complete opposite, lots of water, and then here we go to the desert, and yet in the mountains in the distance there is blue. So it's almost like we've come over the mountains to this place to confront our reality, to confront what is true for us, to receive the message or the riddle that will now take us on a new path, on a new journey. And so we have everything we need to take this journey. You know, it comes from within us, and so it's following the path. And the symbol here is the path of Venus, and Venus has just come out of retrograde, so very interesting. And this card, of course, has the Neptunian energy. There's Pegasus, there's the trident here, so Neptune has just gone retrograde. So I think that's really interesting. And of course we have Venus come out of retrograde, Mars just gone into Aries, its home sign, but then it's going to be there for a longer period than normal because it's in retrograde. So it goes into retrograde, it's not in retrograde yet, but this is our libido, our energy, our start energy of kind of bringing out the energy within us, lighting that fire within us to do what we need to do, difficult things, to confront difficult things, to go, this is what's doing. I'm kind of sick of sitting around. I want to get started. I want to start doing things that are going to make a difference, because clearly other people are not doing it. We can see the leadership of our world is falling apart. And so it's up to us to kind of take the lead in our own lives. Go and get the riddle, go and get the task, go and decide what it is we're focused on. How are we going to move forward? How are we going to generate this energy inside of us and in our communities to bring alive a different experience? Like, we're just not going to sit around waiting for somebody to tell us what to do, because that's not working, right? So to reiterate, We have the 6, this kind of coming to our community, to our values, to the love that helps us move forward. We have the 18, which is a 9, which is about allowing ourselves to be in spiritual communion with the earth, letting go of the ideas in the background, our illusions, you know, moving away from that and getting very still with what we're hearing and receiving through the channels of the divine. And then landing in this place, almost as if we've left here and we've come here. And this is the inner side of our spirit, knowing there are things we have to do now to change our experience. So we want to get involved. So what are we getting involved in? We're looking at this, the hawk, we're looking at the pheasant, we have crystals, this path of love that brings us back to the first card, the Venus energy, awakening our fire and our love in this new alchemy that's going to move us forward. It's going to give us the courage, the heart to defy the old, to move into the new, to really be fulfilled through taking action now. What am I doing? What am I focused on? What needs to be moving forward? And it feels like, almost like there's a lot of moving forward. Like we have these carts filled with stones and we're moving and they're all hooked into oxen. And we have to now move these carts forward. We're moving them away from the old. We're taking the stones. We're taking the sense of who we are, the sense of community, the standing stones of what we value into new places. We're leaving the old, or what seemed like the old. We're in this desert. We're going forward, right? So, you know, it's this idea of moving out of the desert towards what we believe in, to the promised land. What is that? Now, the promise comes from us, right? So we're the ones that have to activate this opportunity, this moment that is culminating and pushing us forward into new life. Very, very exciting, very stimulating, very imposing in some ways and demanding. And remember to rest. 6 and 9 are both numbers that call for rest, to be very aware of your own needs and to take care of yourself so you can build your strength, build your muscles, build your teams, build the dream. It's not something you can just throw at a wall. It's going to take energy and effort, and this is something that's building for longevity. So it's take your time, you know, make those decisions, but really make sure that you're building within, and then taking decisions and working with people, and not kind of sitting on the sidelines or hoping that something's going to work even though you know there's something missing. Really dot those I's, cross those T's, make sure things are how they need to be, because we're still in Mercury retrograde and we're still in this phase where there's a lot of confusion about what is true, what isn't. So being very mindful of that, very connected to yourself, your love, your family, your community, and to your spirit, as is shown in the card, so that you can truly be in the desert, receiving the information you receive to move forward. So you're in the complete ease of this time, right? So not just like, oh, I'm here, what's my task, I'm exhausted. No, it's coming here fully informed, completely ready. And when you're getting tired, you go back to the 6 to regenerate and renew, then come back and fill yourself up, receiving and then taking the journey. What's the next step? What's the mystery involved? What is it? Where do I need courage? What do I need to be honed in on? All right, that's this week's reading. I hope you get something out of it. Please leave me a comment and let me know how it lands. If you see something I didn't see, these cards are still in their infancy, so they're still revealing themselves to me and to others. I you know, they came through me, but I don't know all of what they are and what they're going to be. So I appreciate, you know, whatever I hear, you know, that can help me understand the cards better. And of course, hopefully you receive the information. These cards are a version of the Akashic records that really allow you to receive very powerful energies and information if you allow yourself to expand into that place. The cards are for sale on my website, jenduchene.com. I am Jen Duchene, in case you don't know who I am. Please like, subscribe, and yes, if you want to know more about me, to get a reading, to study with me, or be in one of my groups, all the information is below. Till next time.